what I like and dislike about Guilty Gear Strive. I've been meaning to do this. I've kind of been putting this off for a while. Welcome to the Summer Fam. Yeah, it actually is pretty easy to put on, by the way. It just rolls right on. It's like there's CBD in it and some other stuff, and it's supposed to help you with hand pain. Dude, it does feel good though. Where's the link? Under, if you scroll down, it's like the top panel. We have a code. The link should just have the code for 10% off. Honestly, I have been putting this off for a while, and I felt like, again, that guard crush video, because that's the thing I like the least about the game is guard crush. If you get guard crushed by a guard break move, you cannot interact passively. Why do Honor Potemkin? He has to work for that, even though he doesn't, because he just do it on knockdown. I feel like it would be a good time to just like add this thing. Pros and cons about playing the game. As a side note, this is only going to be talking about literally playing the game. I'm not going to really be talking about like the lobbies and stuff. I think everyone knows that the lobbies are kind of kept, even though they're working on them step by step. And I think everyone knows, like, yeah, okay, like I think everyone knows that. Let's start with negative. Let's start with the things I don't like, and then we'll go into the things I do like. Guard crush. There's a whole fucking 10-minute video on why I don't like guard crush. Go ahead and watch that. All you can do is block or burst. Are you for real? I don't have what else. I have nothing else to say. As an extension of that, one thing I actually don't like about this game is that the nuanced character individuality has been taken out. And what I mean is, there are definitely some like gatekeepers in the back going like, yeah, let's fucking go. Okay, tell them to dumb this game down. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Or you can argue that, yeah, that is what I'm talking about. But essentially, one thing I really liked about older Guilty Gear games, so like Xrd, you know, Xrd is basically where I started the series. I don't even want to say this like, oh, it makes the game deeper. It just made them feel like different people. I'm not talking about characters, but it's not about like how the characters do stuff. I'm talking about how characters had different weights, different wake up speeds, different guard cancels, little things like that, like different hurtbox whiffs depending on when they're crouching and standing, different block animations depending on what they blocked and stuff. It was like it's like really the little things that I really liked about that. I do understand, as an example, like the knockdown thing. It really does make it hard for new people. So for example, if you're a new player starting Milia in Xrd or ACR, you are literally required to memorize all the characters face up and face down wake up speeds, because that's going to determine what type of Oki you can do and what type of defensive options your opponent has. It's a really huge part of it, and honestly I still know the majority, not as well as I used to when I was playing competitive Xrd, but I still know the majority of the characters in Xrd's face up face down speed. I just think it's like a really nice touch on individuality. For the people in the stream, we were talking about Melty and Dragon Ball and how like the game is designed to be homogenous at a system level. So like characters have a lot of shit that's just similar. Like there are like different guard cancels and stuff, but basically everything works the same as a macro level. It is good for new people and it's fine, but it is definitely something I miss. It's something I low-key don't like. Next is definitely gonna be the air dash. This air dash continues to be capped. I don't think I'll ever like this. I don't think I'll ever like this thing. I don't really know why they have this as a thing. It does help. I know what it's for, but I really don't like it. It doesn't feel good. It feels like I'm playing fucking Mario Sunshine. You guys ever play Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube and like you run through the sludge and Mario's like slipping around? That's what the air dash feels like. I'm really not a fan. What's funny about me playing this game is like I feel like my ground movement is fucking so crisp. Like I feel so fast and smooth on the ground, and like my air back dash is like and then my forward air dash, and honestly like they're the same, but like for whatever reason that forward air dash just feels worse. I don't even know. Another thing I don't really like is the wall, but I'm gonna tell you specifically why I don't like. It's a good idea, and actually I think on a strategy level it makes you think. There's actually some interesting choices you can make around the wall. Right now literally the only thing I don't like about the wall is that you don't really know how much HP the wall has ever, and basically the only way you know for sure is by just playing the game alone, is that you get used to confirming when the wall splats, because the wall splat has a freeze on it that eats your input, so you have the chance to like do something and then end the combo. I'm not really a big fan of that. Second to last thing, but you guys are gonna be surprised by this. is the lack of certain Gatlings, specific Gatlings. I actually am pretty cool with the new Gatling system. The biggest thing I kind of don't like actually is 6P. So like 6P has an anti-air, it finally works. I really understand why they picked the Gatlings that they did for everybody. But the biggest thing about this 6P thing, the options by character, because there's no Gatlings. So for example, Millie used to have like 6P, 6P, 6H, which he didn't really use that much. 6P, 2H that used all the time. It was a pretty important Gatling. Now, Millia's special moves that she has off this is she has roll. This is mad punishable, mad punishable, mad punishable. Safe, but big gap, right? Because there's no Gatling, actual use of the tool, I feel like, depends on the special move that they give the characters. So, like, Giovanna fucking has this. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a huge fan of it. It actually is 6P more than any other Gatling that bothers me in that regard. The last thing is actually something that's a general theme of the game that I am cool with, and actually this thing sort of deserves its own video, is that the game is balanced around minus frames. It's something I don't like about modern fighting games in general. I can explain it some other time. It honestly deserves its own segment on why I don't like this thing and what I'm actually worried about for new fighting games. But my perception of what actually makes a game scrubbier is different from your normal keyboard monsters. Your normal keyboard monsters are worried about combos, execution, blah blah blah, right? Which, we all know as the game goes on, people develop stuff. You see people drop shit all the time, no matter what game. You could also flip it on people, and there are some games that people love, and I'm going to show you this, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Does that look like anything to you guys? This combo? Look familiar?
Yeah, I see.
What I'm trying to say is that you will never satisfy people on this. This thing about everything being balanced around minus frames actually seriously bothers me about modern fighting games. And while I'm cool with it, thanks to Dragon Ball FighterZ, actually, I've gotten accustomed and I'm good at it. Better, I shouldn't say good. This game actually helps because there's jump cancels on the move. So I have actually a few things I'm worried about for modern fighting games. This is one of the biggest things. Okay. Now for good stuff. Good stuff. Let's talk about stuff I like about the game. I will start negative even from this point, where they took out a lot of shit that I didn't like about Xrd. That I honestly detested about Xrd. If I just give a top 3, it would be no tech buttons, no danger time, and no full screen slowdowns. Those are the 3 things I probably dislike the most. So, one of the things I like about this game is that they just took out stuff that I didn't like, right? Another thing is, circling back, the Gatlings. You might be like, oh my god, okay. How are you going to sit here and support a lack of expression? I don't have my super esoteric Gatling that I've never ever used except for this one call. Yeah, whatever, okay? I actually really liked how they made the Gatlings in this game. It's very clear. I mean, regardless of whether we had the old or new Gatlings, I, as a long-term GG player, I would have figured out, use this here, this there, all other things. These are the things you don't use, blah, blah, blah. For a new player, they had no idea. With the Gatlings being like this, is a lot easier. And then also they did some low-key things I'm actually a really big fan of. One thing about this game is that it is not very common that you can do this into knockdowns. You have no idea how happy that makes me. You have no idea. I am all about that life. I'm so about that life, to not have the fast mash button guaranteed lead into a knockdown. In this version of the game right now, it's spread by character. So there are characters like, she has 2K into 2 and 4. Milia honestly has this. But in Milia's case, actually, if they don't get hit by the 2K, you do 2K 2D, it kind of smokes. I'm not gonna lie. In the case of the characters who do have it, which is not common, it doesn't do that much damage, and usually they don't have big, good situation off it. One thing about anime games that has bothered people who are from Street Fighter, for example, is that they'll be doing offense and the motherfucker mashes 2A into a long ass combo that does 35% into set play that you can lose off of. This game makes you pick. What are you trying to mash? What are you trying to mash, right? I think that's a good thing, that you can't just get it like that. Or if Potemkin can mash 2P, 2D, Garuda, like that. Not happening in this game. I'm actually really glad it's like that. And usually the characters who do have stuff into knockdown, it's either it goes into something unsafe, or it goes into something where they have to special cancel, like Milia. Some people say sounds lit to me, but honestly that's just curse. In other games, I I play around that obviously, but like it's something that, you know, it's top of mind. You're like, man, like I better have this shit mad tight. Holy shit, my dude took an OD risk and now I'm about to go into set play. Like, this thing bothered me, but the more I played the game, the more I liked it. This general thing of the total duration of moves being a little bit longer than before. So actually, the best character to show this, for new players of the game, you're gonna be like, huh, Chip? And then for old players of the game, they're gonna be like, oh my god. But one of the biggest things about him in this version is that all his moves have longer total duration. So if he doesn't do something like this or this, and he overextends, you can actually whiff punish him. I low-key think one of the things about Exer that's scrubby for some characters is, no, I'm just gonna say scrubby. That's scrubby for some characters is like, sometimes it's like you're playing against a wall. Like Chip is a really good example because so many of his moves have like really short total duration and they're plus at his JD. You can't fucking anti-air because there's no fucking hurt box on it. Basically the Chip is fucking the inflatable tube man just like wailing around his hitboxes on you until you like pick the spot where you hit him, knock him down, and then you run your game plan. Like, he's still really fast and stuff, and he does have moves just pull up on you that are low commit, but like the low commit moves generally don't lead into higher return immediately. They might have implicit return, but it's not like immediately like that. You know what I mean? I'm actually a really big fan of it. The character balance. I think the game is a really good first version of the game. I think the balance is overall really good. It was the thing I was worried about the most in this game, actually. One of the things I was worried about the most is the character balance of the first version. I talked about this a bunch, how the first version of the game is really important, and even if like in later years they get it right, it's really important for a game's first version to be good. It's one of those games where it's not that the weak characters are weak, it's that the stronger characters are stronger, and that's a really good thing. Any questions? That's kind of how I'm feeling right now about all this.